Good evening, everybody. Where did that disappear to? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Um, Thank you for joining me. And if you're catching me, whenever you see this on the replay, thank you for joining. I should have sent out a notification, but I got caught up. So it's about that time where I just share with you more about the people's brand, about who we are, who I am, um, and share with you training topics that are applicable, that can help you on your leadership journey. And so today begins the first of several series of chats. I'll be, hey Blondell, I'll be on here um, perhaps around 7-ish. I'm a bit early this evening, but perhaps around 7-ish. I will post every evening, except for a few evenings. I will post, um, try and post the schedule so you'll know when so that you can either join me live. And if you don't get to join me live, that's okay. You can join me on the replay. So usually when I'm doing my live streams, I'm going live simultaneously. So I'm going live both on Facebook and I'm going live both on Instagram. So if you see me sort of looking like this and this, I'm looking at my laptop and I am looking at my other device. And so tonight, I just want to share a little bit about me, about the person behind the People's Brand, because I do have some new followers, and perhaps you may not know um, you may have been following my content, but you just don't know a little history about me. So I really wanted to come on here and share who I am and why I do what I do. And so let me jump into it. So my name is 𝐈𝐧𝐿 and I am a leadership coach and I help new managers develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work and leveraging their communication skills. And new managers, when you're new, if you're new at anything, and especially if you are in management in a leadership role, it can be very daunting. It could be very intimidating. You may not have the right resources. You may not have the right help. You may not know what to do. And you want to get it right. And so my page is really the people who follow me are ambitious, driven. They want to get it right. They want to leave a legacy. Um, they don't want to half-ass anything. They don't want to. You're not just in the role because you're there for the benefits and for the perks, which is great. But leadership can't all be about just the benefit and the perks, right? It's about leaving a legacy. It's about doing something important. And I always share this quote by Martin Luther King that said, everybody could be great because everyone can serve. And being a leader, that's how you serve. That's one aspect of serving. And so I don't I use the term manager and leader interchangeably because you are leading people. Um, you are leading people, and so it I like the word leader and I like the term leader because it it really summons the best out of you. It really calls forth the best out of you, and so I use the term leader. All right. And so let me just share a little bit with you. And tonight's topic, I'm talking about who are you learning from? So if you are in a new role or transitioning, I also work with persons who are in transitioning from one industry to a next, COVID has really um, changed a lot of things. And so you may be someone who is transitioning from one industry to another and you want to develop your skills. I work with you as well. So let me, and if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. So currently, I am not coaching, I am coaching part-time. I do have a 9 to 5 job, and currently, at the time of this replay, I am the director of human resources for a 5-star luxury resort in the Caribbean. Okay, that's what I'm doing currently. But my passion for sharing and growing talent really stemmed from the fact that I saw a need in my country, within my federation, and I wanted to make not just a difference, but I wanted to help. And so my background is hospitality and I love it. And so if you I sort of stumbled, if you read this morning's post, if you didn't, I'd like to encourage you to do so. I sort of stumbled into hospitality. I stumbled into it. And if it weren't for hospitality, there would be no people's brand. There wouldn't be a people's brand. And I'm drinking my tea because I didn't really had lunch. So forgive me for that if I'm drinking. So there would be no people's brand if it weren't for hospitality. And how I stumbled into it, the company that I'm working for now was not the company that I initially joined. So I remember the Marriott came to my island, St. Kitts, and I I followed one of my friends. They were having a hiring fair, and I followed one of my friends to it. And sometimes, not all the time, sometimes your destiny, your destiny is interesting because sometimes it's tied to you following the lead of someone else. Not all the times, but sometimes. And so I followed this friend, ended up at this career fair, ended up learning about this company, started to get excited about it because I am a learner by heart. I like to read, I like to know things, I like to learn about things. If I hear a new term or idea, concept, word, and I'm in a conversation and I hear any of these things and I don't know, I'll jump on Google right away. I'll learn about it. And so I learned about this company and it sounded really interesting. It sounded like a company that you could grow. And at the time, I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to do. So I you know, I did interviews, and the more I learned about the company, the more interested I became. And I interviewed, and I was relentless. Because it was a career fair, it usually takes recruiters time. And if you're opening a hotel, I've opened a hotel, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time. And it takes time to get back to candidates. So I was relentless. I wanted to work. The more I learned, I wanted to work for this company. And I decided that I would send in application forms and I would follow up and I would follow up and I would follow up. And I did that relentlessly. When I was hired, my HR manager at the time even said to me, Wave, if I had seen just one more application from you, you wouldn't get hired. He said, I was so tired of seeing your application form. And of course, he was just joking. But a lesson for you, be relentless. Be relentless. You cannot take no for an answer. All too often, many people um, in life, they take no for an answer. Be relentless. Be relentless. by going after your dreams, especially if something feels right. And so, let me just really check this. Okay. And so I got into the company and I started out as an admin. Um, by the time the hotel was ready to open, I was already a coordinator. I was doing more stuff. My HR manager at the time pushed me because he saw that I love to learn. He pushed me um, into training. And this is where my training background started from way back when. And so I've been really in hospitality for about 18 years. I left it for like 2 years. I went into manufacturing, but my love, my first love, my love is hospitality because it paved the way for me and it gave me an opportunity and it gave so many others opportunities, right? And so I've been in hospitality for like 18 years. I have, okay, I'll get into that. So I started in um, human resources. And throughout the journey, I went into different departments. So I have been an HR admin, started out like that, been an HR coordinator, I've been an event manager. Yes, I've been an event manager. And no experience is ever wasted. No experience is ever wasted. Um, I've been the executive assistant to the general manager. So I've worked closely with general managers, and that was the best learning ever. That general manager, we still keep in touch because he taught me everything he knew. And then I went back into HR, focused heavily on training and grew there, got into really, got certified um, in facilitating, which is what we call trainers. It's just a fancy term. Got into facilitating, got certified um, at that company, and just really grew my HR career. Left that company, went into manufacturing, went back into hospitality, and here I am today a director of human resources. And I wanted to share this little bit of my journey with you because, like the topic says, who are you learning from? So, what I want for you to take from this is a few things. One, to be relentless and go after your dreams, but also where you start in life is not necessarily where you end. You can end up further. A beginning is just a beginning. A beginning is just a beginning. Life can afford you with so many opportunities. And when you get those opportunities, you cannot be afraid. Had I not followed my friend, had I not gone and taken a leap of faith, and it was a leap of faith because it was an international company, it was brand new. I think the last international company that tried to um, not open, but tried to um, that was being built in my country didn't come to fruition, right? I could remember someone, a businessman, saying to me when I told them, "Hey, you're not going to see me at this place. I'm going to take this opportunity." And the person said to me, "Are you sure? Are you sure they're going to open?" And I still remember that conversation to this day. And had I let fear or somebody else's belief taken me over, um, I would not be here. The people's brand would not be here. And so you really have to follow the urging and the call of your spirit. And you really have to be careful as well who you share your good news with. I know people say it all the time, but it is so true. So I've been in hospitality for about 18 years. I have been in management. I've been a manager for about 16, yeah, about 16. 16 years about that. I think it's about 16 years. I have been in, not 16 years, I've been in management less, maybe about 14 or so. I'm gonna get the correct figure. And I've been in HR, I'm sorry. I've been in HR for about 16 years. So when you view the people's brand, you are, and you see me and I'm on here and I'm sharing tidbits and I'm sharing information. I have been in leadership roles for a very, very long time. And like I mentioned before, there would be no people's brand if I didn't take that leap of faith into hospitality. So, what happened with the people's brand is the current hotel that I'm actually working at, when we were going through, oh, that was my card. When we were going through that pre opening process, right, I recognized that there was a need. Persons were coming and they were not prepared for the interview. And when I say not prepared, some persons didn't have any resumes, or if they did, it wasn't completed. Some persons, I am very good at seeing potential in people. Um, I don't know if it's a gift or a curse. I would want to say it's a gift, but it's really frustrating when you see the potential in someone and they are not living up to that potential. But you can't want more for people than they want for themselves, right? And so I saw that need, and I had been wanting to start a business. I've always wanted to start a business. I just didn't know how I would go about it, because what do you do with HR? Like, I just wasn't seeing the vision of just practicing HR. And so um I spoke about it to a friend of mine and I came up with the People's Brand. So when the People's Brand launched, it was really about an interview prep. I helped people prepare for interviews and I did classes and so forth. One of my plans in the future is I'm going to put those classes online so people can have them. That is one of my plans eventually. But that is really how the People's Brand started, by answering the call to fulfill a need to serve in my federation, a need to serve in my country. I wanted to do that. And I could remember one of my friends saying to me, Wave, you're charging, this is, you shouldn't be charging that price. You should probably be charging more. And I probably should have been charging more, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to learn and grow. For me, everything I do is intentional. When I come on here and when I share, a lot of what I share, everything that I share is born out of the need for persons to find value. I want you to find value in everything that I share. Usually, when I have a training class, I tell people, even if even if it is one thing, even if it is one thing that you walk away from, one action that you can take from what I have to say, then I would have done my job. And so, even if you're listening on this live stream or on this replay and you just capture one thing, you don't have to take a whole heap of notes. You don't have to capture everything that I said, but one thing resonates with you, I would have done my job. And so, my role here is just to serve, to provide you with the opportunities, to provide you with the resources that you need to be a better you, to be a better leader. And that is really, in a nutshell, how the People's Brand started. People's Brand started by me taking a leap of faith into an industry that I had no clue about, no clue about. All I knew, this company sounded like it was a great company to work for. It, you know, it looked like it had a lot of opportunities, and I took that leap of faith, and boom, so many years later, we have the People's brand coming out of that. And I want you to really let that sit and resonate with you. Let it sit and resonate with you. And really, because of my background in training, I was exposed to training, um, my passion for helping people to learn and grow and develop, because life is all about growing and developing. If you're not growing and developing, you're stagnant, you're dead, you're not going anywhere. And we all have to grow and develop. Not all at the same pace, but we all grow and develop. And growth is a beautiful thing. But in order for you to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You can never grow in your comfort zone. All right. You have to step out into the unknown. And so I want to leave with you just a few things that there are many things that I learned um, while I have been in hospitality, but I jot down a few things that really resonated with me, um, that I wanted to share. So, one of the first things that, and there's so many things, but these are what popped into mind. One of the one of the lessons that I learned is, if something is important to your boss, it becomes important to you. And I learned this lesson when I worked closely with the general manager that when I was his exec assistant. Whatever became important to him became important to me. And this is something that new leaders need to learn. If you are in a leadership role, or even if you're not, whatever your boss's priorities are needs to become your priorities, because your job is to support that person. Your job is to um, be someone that your boss can depend on. So it doesn't matter your level. Whatever is important to your boss becomes important to you. And that is a key piece of um, career advice that I can give you for free 99 off the bat. The other thing that I have learned that is very important, which I share in the People's Brand, in my coaching program, and with leaders, is that as an as a leader, your job is to provide the tools and support and resources to your team. That is your job. Your job is not to tell people what to do. Just, you do this and you do that. Your job is really to be a support for others. All right. Um, Something I learned early on in my career as well, names are important. Remembering people's names are important. And this is whether you are a leader or not. But for leaders, you need to know people's name. You need to be able to pronounce them. You need you need to know them. Names are important. And there's so many ideas and ways floating out there on the internet on how you learn people's name, how you remember people's name. People's name are music to their ears. People love when you say their names. Have you ever spoken to someone and you call them by their name and they're like, I didn't, how did you know my name? Right? You get that reaction. And as simple as this may sound, it is very important. And I wanted to share that with you. Because leadership, I think, is people make it very complex. The only thing complex about leadership, and this might be very strange to say, is the people. People are complex, but leading people, if you have a formula, if you have a method and a routine, it should be easy. All right. People are the complex ones because you're managing people, you're dealing with different personalities, but your mode, your method, your your leadership style should be your leadership style, and it shouldn't really, even though leadership is situational, you may not use the same method in each situation. There's something that should be um, consistent about your leading. All right. Um, One thing, another key lesson I learned as well is that people will always tell you no. You ask for something, you request something, you want to get something done, and people always will tell you how it will not work. The answer is no, you can't get it. They will always try and find ways to say no. Don't listen to the no's. It can be done. There are very little no's that you should accept, but almost always it can be done. And I learned this again when I was um, in that executive assistant role. And I just wanted to really come on here and share this little, like my stories, just these little tidbits with you so that you understand who I am, just a little something about me, that when I sit here, when I share from a place of knowledge. I've walked that path. Like I said, I've been in management for a very long time. I've had the opportunity to have different bosses. I've had the opportunity to work with different general managers. I've had the opportunity to work with companies that really um, taught me how to be a better leader, and even the people that I've interacted with, because everybody that you meet can provide a lesson for you, and you never stop learning. And I want for persons to, when they pop into the People's Brand, when you come on the People's Brand page, I want you to walk away with something. I want you to be able to use something that I've shared, whether it's in your personal life or professional, and definitely your professional life. And most of what I teach and share, you can use them in both. And so never be afraid to take a leap of faith, because you never can tell where the leap of faith will lead you. It could be leading you to your destiny, um, such that it did with me. Had I not um, probably followed my friend, had I, even if, and even then, if I had listened to the urgings of, or the sayings of the negativity, I would not, I would not be here. I would not be sharing. You would not be learning from me. And I'm so happy that I always follow my instinct, my gut, the urgings of my heart. And so this is what I wanted to share. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Um, keep posted. I'm going to share the time with you. It may be 7 o'clock tomorrow. It may be around 6:30. I'll work that out. But I will be on for the rest of the week, just sharing stuff with you. So what I've done is, for those of you who are new managers, or if you're not, or if you, even if you want to get into leadership, I have a free download that I have created, and it's simple. It's 6 ways um, to get to influential leadership. Um, and so I've shared that. I think it is, you're probably able to find it on the live stream somewhere. If not, it's on my website, definitely on Instagram. The link is in my bio for it, and go and download it. It's simple, it's 6 steps. And what you really need to do is ask yourself, if you are, evaluate yourself, assess yourself, and see if you are taking these 6 steps. All right. Sometimes we just need a start. Sometimes we just need to follow the urgings of our heart, right? And sometimes we just need to take a leap of faith. So um, download the free guide, and I will speak to you for the rest of the week. I'll be here. It was certainly a pleasure. If you have any comments, let me just check to see if I have any comments in my Facebook. I don't have any comments, but even if you're catching the replay and you want to send a comment or a DM, I would be more than happy to answer you. And I'll see you tomorrow on another live stream. Bye.